Listen, Miss Claudia Jordan, and I'm going to talk to you as if you were sitting in the room right now. Whether or not this used to be more often than not, or it currently exists today, your old ass wouldn't qualify for any of it. How are you 50 plus years old utilizing terminology such as it's giving? Grow up. You have the mindset of a teenager.
So there's a video I want you to take a look at, and I want to see what you think about this.
Okay.
Oh, this is
There's a
gonna be
viral video going around of American men and Russian men being asked if they would provide for their wives. Every single American man said no. They said they wanted to go 50-50. One even said, she's an adult, she can provide for herself. They all mocked the idea of providing for their wives. Every single Russian man said yes. They were dumbfounded at the question, actually. One said, it's my wife, of course. They weren't like, well, it's 50-50. What's she bringing to the table? She can get a job. No, they recognize the value and privilege of just having a woman in their lives. We hear a lot of complaints from American men about modern women and how they aren't feminine, but they're not even functioning as providers and protectors.
What in the world is this? You know what's crazy about this is that, first off, the woman on the right, Claudia Jordan, I believe she's in Foxhall's All Star, is smiling uncontrollably at this particular piece of content. And I will never understand this, why heterosexual women prioritize the thoughts, feelings, and opinions of homosexual men over the same heterosexual men within their own community. I think that is a damn sickness, and in fact, I think is a degree of escapism for what actually men say that would hold them accountable for improving components of their bad behavior. But also, for the life of me, I will never understand why LGQT, ABC type people will have an opinion about what goes on in heterosexual relationships. What is it that you are even talking about? You're an outside opinion. Stay outside. You looking at a viral TikTok video of some men talking about not wanting to provide versus Russian men talking about that they will provide. What does that even mean? It doesn't make any sense. Are you saying that there's no American men that will want to provide for their wife? Shit, even on my platform of 800,000+ subscribers, my subscribers know of my goal to protect and provide going into the future. And I'm an American man, so please explain that, sweetheart. But see, people like this don't prioritize the truth. They prioritize going viral on TikTok. I suggest you should continue to prioritize chasing your bag of
They want women to be their roommates who pay half the bills, provide a maid service for their dusty apartment, and are their bedroom buddy. When these men try to go find wives overseas, the women are always like, I'm not coming back to help you pay bills and lay down with you. Are you crazy? See, these men want women to be feminine, but they have her out in her masculine all day doing more of the heavy lifting and providing than they do. There's no benefit to you, sweetie.
And that is...
Wow, she's clapping. If I was to take a guess, I would say she has a man, and we already know that she does not. She just said that earlier. So, of course, single, bitter, and old will laugh and clap at this shit, while already taken and happily in a relationship will not. Funny how that happens. Let's watch.
Men want women to be feminine, but they have her out in her masculine all day doing more of the heavy lifting and providing than they do. There's no benefit to you,
Send
sweetie.
the asteroid.
And that is actually Christian Walker. Do you know who that is?
I do. That's Herschel Walker's son.
Herschel Walker, that was just tapped to be
the Heisman Trophy winner?
The Bahamas, because we need that.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very difficult, negotiations going on with the Bahamas.
Okay.
Lots of, anyways, but his message, what he's saying, what do you think about it?
I agree.
I'm floored. That's not funny. I shouldn't be laughing at it. I am floored that is his son. Holy moly.
Yeah, I do agree. And here's the thing. When we talk about 50-50, people always think like, if I make $10 and you make $10 and we're both putting in $5 type thing. I don't see 50-50 as being monetary. I see 50-50 as being sweat equity, labor equity, child rearing equity. And I think that in America, there is a sense that it is very monetary. Yes. If our rent is $1,000 and we're each paying $500. And I just don't see that fitting with the current landscape that we have in this country. My husband is Canadian. He has a different type of idea of what it means to have a 50-50 household. Yep. So I don't equally share monetary responsibilities, but I definitely am in a position to make sure that his life is easier so that he can do what he needs to do for the two of us.
Well, you're
I love that answer. And what I find is that the majority of the women that consider this 50-50 conversation, if they only think of it from a financial perspective, generally that is the most ignorant, ghetto, ratchet, and dusty of women in general. They don't consider to have a specific role to fit in within that 50-50 equation. They just hear 50-50 and it turns them off because they want to be financially provided for.
husband's not broke. And these are broke men conversations.
Okay.
These are broke men conversations. What are you bringing to the table? What are you going to give me? I want to live in my soft life.
She's
I
so
want to be
bitter.
the
Not his soft
princess.
life.
What are you doing for me? Why don't you court me? Why don't you open my door? What size tampon do you use? Because
no.
at this point,
Oh, I'm
it's
about to go
giving,
in.
are you the woman in the relationship?
It's
I'm
giving.
sorry, but this really irritates me when I hear this because I miss the times where men were really proud. I saw another video online where a man said the biggest flex is getting your woman out of the workforce, making it where she can do stuff if she wants to, not
Yeah.
a control thing, but like I'm making enough money that you don't have to work, but I do appreciate what you do, because we all understand that in most relationships, the woman is going to carry the majority of the load at home.
Yeah, I think a lot of the
Let me just pause right there. It's interesting that she talks about the way things used to be. Listen, Miss Claudia Jordan, and I'm going to talk to you as if you were sitting in the room right now, whether or not this used to be more often than not or currently exists today, your old ass wouldn't qualify for any of it. How are you 50 plus years old utilizing terminology such as it's giving? Grow up. You have the mindset of a teenager. No wonder you're old as shit and still single as hell. There will never be enough makeup. There will never be enough plastic surgery. There will never be enough jewelry, and there'll never be enough money to keep you from hiding from the fact that the reason that no man wants you or will ever want you is because of your own attitude and your relationship to men. Fix your trauma, go get therapy, and once you do that, maybe some guy somewhere would want to put up with your bullshit. Let's go.
this does come from a lack mindset as opposed to an abundance mindset. And the truth is, a lot of men come from households where their mother was the provider, where they're single parent households,
In a
and the
black
mother
community,
was
yeah.
the strong one. And they really
And we gotta correct
anticipate
this.
that being the role of their wife and or partner,
If they
girlfriend,
do, they're
you know,
weak.
when we're talking about heteronormative relationships. And that needs to change. I think a lot of women, it would behoove them as mothers to explain to their children, particularly their sons, that this isn't the ideal situation. This was a situation that I was forced into or circumstanced into, but you want something greater. To be quite honest, my husband, I say all the time, I did not marry a rich man. I married a financially responsible person. And because of that, we were able
I
to
like
come
her.
up with a system that worked for us. But let me be 100% honest. My husband is far more successful now than he was when we first started dating. And a big part of that was that I played a role, a 50-50 role in ensuring that his life was so streamlined that all he had to concentrate on was going out and making bigger moves. And when it was my turn, he did the same for me.
Well, they say there's that whole thing that was trending on social media, like that black girl magic, like with the upgrading. I'm not saying you made your man. I'm not saying that at all.
No, but
I do think
yeah, I played a part.
well, you know what? He's not here today, so we can talk more shit. Like Erica said, I made him.
I played a part.
I made
No, Viv, my mother-in-law did an
He would be
amazing
nothing
job.
without me.
No, she did an
I
amazing
did that.
job. But I'm going to be quite honest. Like, I do not see him on the same trajectory, the way that he has moved in the past 10 years since we've been together. Those are things that I definitely contributed to. And I don't think that he would say anything different.
Here's the thing, and I love the position that she's speaking from, which was that he had some ways to go. They got together young, and listen, any of you guys out there that are seriously considering a woman for long-term relationship, if not marriage, and if your lady cannot confidently say that she had something to do with helping you become the man that you are today, then she was never an asset. She was always a liability. What this woman to the right doesn't understand is that she thinks the amount of money that's in her bank account makes her an asset. That's absolutely incorrect. What she doesn't realize is what men generally want, which is respect, which is the ability to bring peace. She doesn't do any of that, which makes her utterly useless. She's a complete liability. and a waste of time. Shit, most women, and I think she on the left would agree with me, just have to bring peace. He goes out, fights the dragons, he comes home, bring him peace. That makes you a damn asset. I don't want to come back home and slay another dragon when I get in the front door. This is a fire breather right over here. Let's go.
I think men that have this 50-50 mentality thing when it's so like down the middle, where I know, I mean, there was a conversation before with Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union about like 50-50 with the bills, and he makes a lot more money than her. And people were like, wait, what? And I just feel like we're getting away from, I do like, listen, I know some men will probably say you can't have it both ways. Yes, I can, because why not? Like wanting the
Your
chivalry
results say they don't.
and wanting like somewhat traditional roles, but then also wanting equality in the workplace. I don't think that's a contradiction. I really don't.
It's not
You're
a
a
contradiction,
moron.
but again, when we have these conversations, we're looking at it from a 360 view. If you've only had just any experience 180, it's very difficult to understand both sides.
Okay.
Like I absolutely do expect my husband to open doors for me. I expect him to make sure that I'm walking on the inside of the sidewalk
street, yeah.
away from the street. Those are things that I do have an expectation for.
Sure.
But when we're at home or when we're navigating our lives, whether it's finance or social, I am an equal partner and I have an equal voice. So I think you can have both of those things, but he also isn't a person who gets emasculated by the idea that I have an equal voice because he understands the value of my voice.
Don't you? Do you feel? I know I feel since like I can't blame all the ills of relationships in America on this last election, but I do feel like a really
God.
ugly side of misogyny has been
God.
revealed with this last election. Like I feel like men are like going back to like pounding on their chests like cavemen about like, you know, your body, my choice, or, you know, they're like bragging or happy to kind of like suppress women.
She's a
And I
feminist.
do feel like there was like a true gender war that's happening right now. And you see these videos popping up all over social media. I think they need to ban podcast equipment for men. No more. We have enough. I need no more of those. The market is flooded. But it's all these bad takes on relationships. And I think these men that are
Wow.
saying this, is it working for them? Because
Hey, Claudia Jordan, invite me onto your podcast. I'd love to be able to have a conversation with you. Let's pressure test the things that you're saying versus the things that I'm saying. I'd love to have a conversation with you in real time, and we could just talk about it. You're currently mad at men, and who you actually should be mad at is feminism. But you've been sold a false bill of goods from feminism. They've convinced you that men are the problem here. Their rhetoric, multiplied with your inability to choose a correct man, has left you dusty, alone, and bitter as shit. And it's really sad to see, at 51 years old, with these types of thoughts that you feel comfortable going public with. It's a damn shame.
Because I do know, I've been hearing that people are having less sex now. Testosterone is also down. The sex drives are down. And I don't know, it just seems like the times of like masculine, manly, sexual, just dominant, protective men, I don't see that as much. Now, I did find this little, study online, right? So on top of these men wanting to go 50-50 with you, American men have their nerve, because I looked up the average global and in the counting of the nation,
the woman to the
guess
left
where
is uncomfortable.
America ranks in penis size?
Where?
She's 51.
59th. We come in 59th
Look, she's
place.
uncomfortable.
Oh, I lost my post. Hold on. 59th place with an average length. What do you think average is?
4.
Look at her smirking.
Erica.
I
5.35 inches, right?
Okay.
That is average. Now the country with the biggest. You take a
This
quick
is so.
guess.
This
I'm
is.
gonna go with Italy.
Italy is number.
Yo, when I bring up, like, when I was a kid and they used to just talk about on daytime talk shows, like, I'll be sitting here looking at the TV, and then all of a sudden the topic of the conversation was, does penis size matter? You know what that does to a young boy who's just sitting here looking up at the TV like, what the is this shit? Now, imagine I had a podcast and I'm sitting here talking to my homie and I start talking about the difference in wall length, right? Or wall width, rather, is probably a lot more accurate. Does wall width matter? Does the viscous inside of the innards, does it matter? And to of what, which degree? But these are your leaders today, MTRs. all the other modern women that are watching this shit, why does this not make you want to seethe in anger? These are the same exact feminist women that will complain about the male gaze or men sexualizing women, yet she's talking about penile size. What a 51-year-old loser.
19.
Okay.
Ecuador is number 1, 6.93 inches.
Wow.
So all these men that are like, I got 9 inches, lies. Knock it off. No one on here has 9 inches. That's like freak of nature.
It's folklore. Yeah.
Ecuador, Cameroon, Bolivia, Sudan, Haiti, Senegal, Gambia, Cuba, Netherlands.
You are forever a
Zambia,
bop,
and France. Top
Claudia
11.
Jordan.
America is number 59. So on top of you lazy not want to pay bills, demanding your woman work, contribute half the money, half the bills, give this, give that, and pamper you and do all your laundry, do all the other things that you really can't put a price tag on. You're not even bringing ample peni to the relationship.
Here we are back with the peni.
We're
She's
back to the peni. I'm going to find a way to fit peni into every single episode.
Shout out to the lovely young woman to the left. You know, you're having a conversation with a toddler, and this probably goes for anybody that is interested in being involved in media. You can be an absolute moron and still be involved in media. Lord knows how you ever got a show for any goddamn thing with this type of mindset and this type of attitude. But I appreciate her class, her sophistication. The young woman on the left, you are demonstrating why a man has chosen you, as well as this behemoth. This Delilah over here is demonstrating why a man will never give her the time of day.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Are you?
Because, yes, I am.
Go ahead.
Because I think when you say these men, I say some men.
Of course,
because
not all.
You know, and the thing
You got
about
the one
it
unicorn
is-
left, though, in America.
Yeah, but I think
Wow.
ultimately what's happened is
The
a
one
lot
left.
of people who have felt like they've been attacked, oppressed, marginalized
Who, men?
as men. Yes.
So there's marginalized and attacked men in America?
Well, that's how they're feeling.
Wow.
And those minority
Wow.
groups are, I'm saying minority is in small number, you know.
As in 5.93 inches?
Yeah, like, I'm saying the minority groups are more minority, or they're feeling like they're in a minority class, are getting louder. And that's generally what happens in an echo chamber. I think that people have felt very emboldened especially over the past few months, especially with the political cycle, to say things that they haven't felt comfortable or protected in saying before. And that's why it sounds so loud. I welcome everyone to have a mic. I know that we don't need to
That's
hear
called
from
free
everyone,
speech.
but that's ultimately our personal choice, whether we want to listen to who's saying what. But for me, it's kind of the same way that I look at getting the information about what's happening in the world. I want to hear from the left, I want to hear from the right, and I want to hear straight up the middle. Because if
Makes
we
sense.
are silent, or if we start to ignore the minority voices or the fringe voices, then we get blindsided.
They
And
will
that's
bubble
the
up.
reason why people are always so shocked when, you know, the election goes a certain way, or, you know, people are voting a certain way. People are shocked by that because they aren't listening to
Yes.
dissenting opinions.
Great.
I hear you, Erica.
But you don't want to listen. What she doesn't understand is that what she represents, the way that she talks about men, is exactly why so many male-focused spaces have popped up, especially on the internet, over the past 5 to 10 years. Because of the past 20 to 30 years, we have heard this type of shit ad nauseum, to the extent of normalizing, talking about eggplant size as if that's a normal thing to do. What this battle axe doesn't understand is that mindsets like you, is the reason that this is occurring. Meanwhile, we sit over here, we say that we want women to have a lower body count, and we get called misogynistic pigs. It doesn't make sense. You get to talk about our dick sizes, but we can't ask to stop all of these men are demonstrating yourself in a sexual manner publicly or on Instagram. If you want to be of marriage material going into the future, that's what we get called being misogynistic for, having standards and requirements. Give me a break.
But I'm going to play the devil's advocate.
Okay.
Some of these voices need to be suppressed because they're idiots. And I stand by that. I'm sick of it. How dare a white, privileged male in America have the audacity to think in
What do you mean
any
white?
way, shape, or form that he's oppressed? It really kills me with that. Like, oh, we're not getting the like. we're not getting the love. We're not getting the attention. We're not getting the privilege. You guys run the world literally. Like, you go to countries, you take clubs, you knock people over the head, you take their land, you take their women, you take their jewelry, you take their gold, you take their silver, you take everything.
Don't forget the spices.
Oh, and the spices that they never use, mind you. Colonizers, like, please, will it kill you to use them? I know I said it wrong. That's why you laughed last time.
No.
Cumin. I said cumin, whatever. But they don't
Is
use
she
that.
still on Fox
And it's like
Soul?
this whole, maybe I'm old school, but I've never been one to have sympathy or empathy for participation trophies. And I stand by that. I feel like when we do that, like, we take away like what exceptionalism, I tried to say a big word with the drink. You take away from the people that really work hard to, like, be great.
So that means that you're not a fan of DEI then, huh? Or is that just another contradiction? DEI is not meritocracy. Those are actually diametrically opposed things.
And that goes in all areas, relationships. Everyone's like, got a voice. Everyone counts. Everyone matters. Even when they say idiotic, stupid things. I'm a fan of people that say dumb shit not being heard, and I am all for suppressing them. You're not oppressed. You're just stupid, and we don't want to hear from you.
I mean, a fair point, because I know a lot of people feel that way. I'm more of the school of thought of
Go ahead.
I'm always ready to compete. I'm always
There
ready
you go,
to show
baby.
up, because when it really comes down
Meritocracy.
to it, if we're going, step by step, toe to toe, I'm not backing down, because I know what I bring to the table, and I know that that's not just smoke and mirrors. So I'm actually a fan
Survival of
of
the fittest.
people telling you who they are, as opposed to me wasting time trying to
I get that them telling us who they are, but I just won't feel bad for them. And I do think this culture right now, and I know we got to wrap this one up, it's becoming a breeding ground for no relationships. Like, these men are like, we don't feel heard. We're oppressed. We're oppressed. And then women are like, wait, what? I have to do all this and that and still do work, like, operate in my masculine space.
Yeah.
I see women becoming more masculine because we're being forced
this is
to
hilarious.
fend for ourselves, right? And men becoming more feminine because they're looking literally for their mother in their relationships. And that is lowering sex drive. It's lowering the urge of having a relationship. And it's feeling like pressure when you have the responsibilities of a regular relationship.
Yeah.
Like, asking someone to call you back when they say is now pressure. It's too much for them. They can't take it. Oh my God. So I don't know. I can't be your mother and your lover, because if I'm your mom and I'm doing motherly things for you, I'm not going to be as freaky, because that's weird.
Yeah.
And ladies, before we go, put this word on the bottom of the screen. This is a new trend of men. They are called homosexuals.
Oh, yeah.
They will fast track a relationship and want to marry you, move in super quickly, not because they just can't stand to be away from you. It's because they need a place to stay. They usually are good looking, have great D, great in bed, because the broke ones are always the best in bed. I wish I didn't know that. And they can...
Hey, ladies. This is an example of blind leading the blind. If you continue to listen to podcasts with evil women like this, it's going to leave you more bitter, angry, and alone. These are your forever cat ladies. She's going to have so much, let's just call her a cat shepherd. But nevertheless, what I find so interesting is the dichotomy between these two lovely young ladies. I can't handle any more of this garbage ass content. If you guys want to look for it, I'll leave a link to it in the description box down below, but you see the name of it down here. But yeah, these are the types of women that have made their bed and will continue to lay in it, for their ego is too large in order to take accountability for the way that they talk to and treat the opposite sex. But yeah, I can't go over this content no more. It's killing my brain cells, and at this point I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with a sledgehammer. But guys, let me know what you think about this particular piece of content here today. Leave me your comments down below in the comment box so we can get active on this conversation. Last but not least, if you guys want to join my men's self-development community, we are growing, we are building, we are getting faster, stronger each and every day. If you want to join the brotherhood and increase your purpose game, your masculinity game, your fitness game, especially your financial gain, this is the community for you. Come tap in. Link in the description box down below. Until next time, YouTube, peace.